Welcome back, Chosen One. Today, you are also drawn back by the radiance. Now is the time to pay close attention. Today, I must send an urgent message. Additionally, this message is not intended for everyone. If your heart is not in alignment with truth and you do not follow God's divine path, you will be uncomfortable and eventually leave. However, if you are truly chosen and a sincere follower of God, you will stay because this message was delivered to you at the right time. This was not delivered to you by accident. The divine orchestrated this encounter. The information I'm about to share will change your perception of yourself and how you interpret your experiences. It will give your spirit clarity, peace, and strength. Many of you have already experienced it. People keep eye contact with you for an extended amount of time. Their mouths are closed, but their irises stay fixed. They look at you without saying anything, which makes you wonder why. By the end of this message, you will understand the spiritual reason for that silence and stop doubting your own identity. Please stay with me until the end, as there is a message that will deeply comfort your heart. Additionally, if this strikes a chord with you, please let me know by leaving a comment below 444. This simple action confirms that you are divinely protected and fully aligned with the divine plan for your life. Section 2. The Invisible Mark. Select one reason why your presence disrupts rooms. I would like you to take a moment to collect yourself and listen calmly. It is neither psychological imagination nor the result of chance. Something is imposed on you that cannot be seen by humans. However, it is deeply felt that God leaves an invisible imprint on those he chooses. A mark of assignment, not a sign of superiority or pride. This mark is not audible. It does not make any announcement. It does not require attention. However, it has weight, and the atmosphere changes when weight is introduced into a space. This is why you can enter a location in silence while still feeling the gaze of others on you. I heard no words from you. You didn't do anything unusual, but the room changed when you arrived. People don't always look at you with admiration. Their inner world may be disrupted, leading them to stare at times. They are accustomed to the patterns you disrupt. You unintentionally incorporate order into disorder. You seamlessly incorporate tranquility into the midst of chaos. That is not a skill you have acquired. That is a trait that God instilled in you over time, often through the use of duress, solitude, and silence. Your presence speaks volumes even before you say anything. Something within you has already communicated before you say a single word. Integrity is communicated here. Restraint is conveyed. It communicates profundity. It is unusual for many people to be in the presence of someone who does not let their insecurity spill over into the room. Most people enter spaces expecting to be validated, acknowledged, or approved. They converse quickly. They express themselves. They try to fill the silence because it reveals them. However, you are distinct. You are comfortable remaining inactive, even if you are unaware of it. Anchored status is yours. Additionally, this anchor causes tension in people who lead emotionally unstable lives. This explains why the stare is frequently accompanied by silence. They are attempting to interpret your expressions. They are trying to place you in a category that is understandable to them. However, you do not meet their typical criteria. You are not sufficiently boisterous to be dismissed. You are incapable of ignoring the situation. Your level of familiarity is insufficient to exert control, so they observe. Choose one. This is critical for your recovery. Silence is not an act of condemnation. It is not an act of disrespect. It combines uncertainty and recognition. Your spirit possesses authority that is not subject to permission. In addition, authority causes people to hesitate. It compels them to assess their language. This causes them to be cautious, regardless of whether they are aware of why. There are people who believe you understand more than you disclose and perceive more than you articulate. The mere recognition of this fact can be unsettling. They instinctively slow down when they realize they can't easily read you. They observe. They become silent not because you have threatened them, but because they perceive an aspect of themselves as vulnerable in your presence. Avoid reducing oneself in order to accommodate others. It is not your intention to diminish the obligations that God has placed on you. You are not intended to be diminutive in order to help others relax. The discomfort you cause is not an indication of cruelty. It's a contrast. Light makes no apologies for revealing what darkness attempted to conceal. This invisible mark also captures the attention of those who are spiritually hungry. Some people look at you because they see you as a source of security. They may be unaware of the reason, but your calm demeanor comforts them. Others gaze because they believe they are being judged by their own conscience rather than by you. Furthermore, some people gaze because they see fortitude that does not require validation. You must learn to remain calm in that reality. You are not required to explain your conduct. God created you with purpose. He allowed pressure to refine you. He allowed you to mature through silence. He allowed your misinterpretation to strengthen you. The residue of that process is now carried with you as you enter spaces. Your aggressiveness doesn't make you intimidating. You are unsettling due to your consistency. You are not noticed because of your peculiarity. You are noticed because of your rarity. Many people see stability as an alien concept in a chaotic world. The invisible mark you bear also serves as a safeguard. It creates a barrier without causing animosity. It enforces access restrictions without your intervention. God did not intend for you to be readily available to everyone. Your presence serves as a reminder that people cannot manipulate you, so certain doors remain closed. It is unnecessary for you to fix this. It is not necessary to mitigate it. It is unnecessary to lower your standards or decrease your awareness in order to appear more approachable. God's limitations on you are deliberate. It will attract those who intend to approach while repelling those who do not. So, the next time you see the glances, take a deep breath and remain calm. Refrain from becoming agitated. Refrain from questioning yourself. Do not rush to fill the silence. Allow them to observe. Allow them to feel whatever emotions arise within them. Managing their reactions is not your responsibility. It is your responsibility to keep alignment. Section 3. In the event that spirit recognizes spirit, while terror remains silent. Selected. This is the section where many misconceptions are finally cleared up, so I recommend that you breathe slowly while listening. Confusion is not the cause of every stare you get. Some stem from recognition, which, when combined with dread, often results in silence. Spirit recognizes spirit before the mind can elucidate it. Language is not necessary for this recognition. It is unnecessary to include a preface. It takes place quietly, profoundly, and instantly. Even if they can't explain why you're different, some people can tell you're not like them. This moment of awareness prompts a pause. Numerous people live in a state of reaction rather than discernment. As a result, they become paralyzed when they encounter an unexpected sensation that they are unable to understand or control. Those pauses frequently result in silence. They are fixated on the object because their spirit has recognized it, but their consciousness has not yet classified it. I want you to understand this matter precisely. When spirit recognizes spirit, intellect moves aside. It is not awaiting approval. It's simply awareness. In those who are not spiritually mature, knowledge without comprehension causes hesitation. They have no idea why they feel so devoted. They perceive authority but are unable to recognize it. They are aware of weight, but do not have a reference point for it. This explains why certain people become anxious in your presence for no apparent reason. Your actions and statements are irrelevant. The frequency conveyed is of primary concern. Your spirit operates on a different level than theirs, which disrupts their usual patterns of engagement. If this is currently clear to you, please take a moment to express your agreement. Please like this video and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any future messages tailored to people like you. Fear is also present in this situation. Dread of exposure rather than fear of harm. Individuals who conceal their identities perceive what you see through facades. Individuals who rely on manipulation perceive you as uncontrollable. Individuals who avoid confronting the truth believe that you naturally embody it, causing an internal unease that is expressed through silence. It is likely that you have noticed this pattern. Some people are drawn to you, while others withdraw without explanation. Individuals who draw back are not necessarily your adversaries. They simply do not align. Their spirit understands the requirements of your presence, which include honesty, integrity, and profundity. However, they are not yet ready for that level of involvement. Allow me to speak gently to your emotions in this situation. You are not responsible for providing comfort to those who are distressed as a result of the truth. There is no need to diminish oneself in order to help others feel more significant. God gave you a spiritual frequency for a specific purpose, which includes disrupting comfort zones that have become prisons. When spirit recognizes spirit, the intention is revealed as well. Some people remain silent because they know their intentions will not stand up to scrutiny. Some people remain silent while strategically planning their approach to you. Individuals who remain silent are wondering if you are as composed as you appear. Silence becomes a test, which you pass by remaining calm, chosen. It is critical that you release the obligation to interpret every glance. You must abandon the need to justify each moment of silence. Your analysis isn't necessary in every situation. Certain circumstances simply indicate that God has bestowed upon you an attribute that others perceive but cannot fully comprehend. This is enough. This recognition also works in reverse. There are people whose spirits are easily identifiable. You either feel instantly at ease with them or experience apprehension for no apparent reason. That is the expression of your essence. Have faith in it. Do not replace it with logical reasoning. Do not dismiss it solely because you want to be compassionate. Discipline is not unkind. It functions as a safeguard. Understanding spiritual recognition changes everything. It implies that you aren't hallucinating the tension you feel in specific rooms. When you suspect that someone is not being sincere, you are not being paranoid. No, you are not overthinking when you withdraw from someone who appears to be friendly. Your spirit interprets frequencies that your mind has not yet translated into language. Numerous chosen individuals have been duped into doubting their own discernment. People accused you of being judgmental, when in fact you were being discerning. They accused you of being cold when in reality you were exercising caution. They convinced you that setting boundaries was callous, despite the fact that it is the most benevolent thing you can do for yourself and others. However, you must remember the following. It is not a flaw that you can see what others cannot. It is a feature. It is an essential part of your spiritual makeup. And the more you respect it rather than rationalize it, the stronger it will become. When spirit is recognized, it bypasses all of the commotion and goes directly to the truth. The truth is what liberates you. I'd like you to temporarily change your perspective. The silence you have misinterpreted as an act of aggression is actually an act of kindness. God uses the silence of others to impart teachings that would be impossible to obtain any other way. Silence promotes self-reliance. When you are not validated by others, you stop seeking external validation. When people fail to explain their beliefs, you stop trying to change them. When people do not participate, you learn to be satisfied without their input. Silence eliminates the need for approval and forces you to rely on your own spiritual strength. A significant number of you were raised to believe that silence is a sign of an issue. You were told that if people do not speak, it is likely that you have done something to offend them. You were instructed to fill vacant spaces with performances, explanations, or apologies. However, God is using this season to disrupt that conditioning. Silence, too, imparts discernment. When you're not preoccupied with constant conversation, you can start to notice patterns. You notice people who approach with sincere intentions. You notice that they are only present when they need something. You can see who respects boundaries and who pushes them. Silence allows for uninterrupted observation. I want to make sure you understand this information with confidence. Silence does not constitute punishment. It is the process of preparing. God is preparing you to have influence without being influenced. He is teaching you how to walk with authority without the need for constant reinforcement. He is teaching you to be content in solitude in order to avoid feeling desperate in a community. A level of maturity that can only be gained through solitude is present. When you stop expecting others to speak, you will be able to hear God more clearly. When you stop filling every gap with noise, you start to notice the information that the noise was previously concealing. When one stops working for approval, he or she begins working for a specific reason. Boost. Furthermore, silence has bestowed upon you an empowering realization. It has revealed who is truly on your side. Your people are those who remained present despite your silence, did not require explanations, and respected your process without needing to understand it. The rest was obscured by silence. I'll speak this at a moderate pace to ensure that it's understood. The silence that is currently surrounding you is preparing the way for the appropriate voices to emerge at a later date. God is clearing the space. He eliminates distractions. He is protecting you from premature connections that could impede the growth He is encouraging in you. The power you have without being aware of it. Chosen one, there is a fundamental aspect of your nature that you must understand. You did not earn the authority you have. It is an entity that was implanted within you and has quietly developed without your knowledge. This is why people respond to you before you speak. This is why your mere presence has the potential to change the atmosphere. Not all forms of power are readily apparent. In reality, true power rarely does. Volume is unnecessary. Validation is unnecessary. It simply exists, and that is enough to elicit a sensation. Many of you were unaware that you were carrying this quietly until others started to notice. The glances you get aren't always prompted by curiosity. They occasionally discuss evaluation. Individuals make subconscious assessments about whether you are perceived as a threat or an ally, whether you will test or boost their level of confidence, whether you can be managed or operate autonomously. Furthermore, all of this occurs before the exchange of a single remark. I'd like you to consider this reality. You compel people to reconsider their actions. You encourage people to reconsider their approaches. You introduce people to new methods of self-awareness. That is not hubris. That is the result of introducing something genuine into a world filled with pretense. Restraint is also a source of power. You do not have to provide any evidence. You are not required to constantly defend yourself. Also, it is unnecessary to justify your decisions to people who will not understand them in the first place. Your ability to exercise restraint sets you apart from those who wield power without possessing it. One that has been selected. Many of you have expressed concerns about your own fortitude. You were told that your authority makes you intimidating. You were told that confidence is a sign of arrogance. You were taught to contract in order to allow others to grow. However, God is dismantling that deception. It is not intended that your power be concealed. Stewardship is intended. This is the point at which many selected individuals face difficulties. You diminish God's amplification in order to avoid causing discomfort to others. You try to blend in with the crowd in order to avoid being noticed. You are afraid to appear arrogant, so you downplay the value of your possessions. However, none of this benefits the kingdom. Its sole purpose is to create dread. I'd like to be crystal clear. Your power is not intended to be used to dominate others. This is for the purpose of delivery. It is not for the purpose of control. Its purpose is to provide coverage. It is not meant for display. Its purpose is utilitarian. However, one cannot effectively serve if they constantly apologize for their bravery. There will always be people who question your authority. Certain people will commemorate it. It may cause anxiety for some people. Certain people will try to diminish it. It is not your responsibility to control their responses. It is your responsibility to stay faithful to the responsibilities that God has given you. Section 6. This is why you are not required to provide an explanation to anyone. Chosen one. I'd like to address the aspect of you that feels compelled to explain. The component that feels remorse when others misinterpret your actions. The component that aims to explain, justify, and defend your decisions. I require you to immediately relieve that burden. You are under no obligation to explain the course of God's action in your life. You do not have to give anyone access to your process. You do not have to give anyone a detailed explanation of your decisions. Certain matters are meant to remain between you and God. Furthermore, that boundary is considered sacred. Many of you have been trained to believe that silence equals secrecy, and secrecy equals shame. As a result, your explanation goes beyond what is necessary. You provide an excessive amount of information. People who do not have the right to access your inner world are given information. And each time you do so, you undermine the boundaries that God has instructed you to set. Withholding is not synonymous with silence. Silence acts as an effective safeguard. It protects your tranquility from unnecessary opinions. It protects your vision from being unfairly criticized. It protects your energy from those who want to argue over what God has already confirmed. I want you to understand a significant concept. When you stop providing explanations, people stop feeling entitled to them. People stop criticizing you once you stop defending your decisions. People stop withholding approval as a form of leverage when you stop asking for it. This does not mean you become distant or cold. It implies the development of discernment. You disclose information to people who have proven their trustworthiness. You are more open with those who value the information you share. Chosen one, you provide an explanation to those who genuinely want comprehension rather than ammunition. Allowing people to ponder is a form of liberation. Leaving curiosity unsatisfied is a powerful force. Prudence dictates that certain matters should be kept until the appropriate time. Jesus said, "Do not cast your pearls before swine." Some revelations are not intended for public consumption. Even if you don't provide an explanation, those who are supposed to accompany you will understand. Even if they don't see the whole picture, those who want to help you will believe in your process. Individuals who agree with your assignment will respect your boundaries without requesting access. And this is the most stunning part. By ceasing to explain, you stop exhausting yourself. Your energy is no longer wasted on pointless conversations. You stop repeating your message to people who are never going to understand it. You regain your tranquility. As a result, the next time someone looks at you silently, resist the urge to fill the void. Allow them to be inquisitive. Allow them to work through their confusion. Allow them to ponder. It is unnecessary to ensure that your communication is understood by all individuals. Your only obligation is to obey God. Section 7. The transition is approaching. They plan to change their speech in the near future. One that has been selected. I want you to listen to this section with a peaceful heart, because it is here that hope replaces tension. Your current state of silence is not permanent. It is seasonal, and each season God creates has an expiration date. A change is on the way, and you can already see it creeping up beneath the surface. Individuals who previously observed you without speaking will not always remain silent. The distinction is that you will not change your identity. The distinction is that God will complete the development He has been fostering within you, and uncertainty will be replaced with clarity. Currently, many people are unsure how to address you because they do not understand your situation. They perceive potential, depth, and direction, but they have not fully realized these qualities in a visible way. People speak confidently about their ability to define. They maintain their silence regarding the ongoing events. However, unfolding is never truly concealed. There is a moment when the quiet strength you have carried begins to produce visible fruit, when consistency becomes undeniable, and when preparation becomes evident. The tone of the interaction changes as a result. Individuals who were previously cautious will now begin to speak respectfully. Individuals who previously maintained a distance will now approach with inquiries. Individuals who previously underestimated their abilities will adjust their language. Not due to your demand, but rather due to the maturation of the truth. Tool. Chosen one, this is the method by which God safeguards you from premature praise and premature criticism. The opinions of others would influence you if they were expressed prematurely. You would be discouraged if they made a premature judgment. While God completes His work, silence ensures your freedom. There is a profound therapeutic aspect to this that I would like you to comprehend. The current silence you are experiencing is indicative of the fact that your life is not yet entirely comprehensible to others. Additionally, that is a gift. It is still being written by God. So that the narrative remains uninterrupted, interruptions are minimalized. Numerous of you are in closer proximity to recognition than you are aware. However, recognition does not initially manifest in a loud manner. It manifests in the form of subtle changes, such as a shift in the manner in which individuals perceive and address you. A moment of silence precedes their speech, not out of fear, but rather out of respect. This is the moment at which silence undergoes a transformation. The silence that was previously uncomfortable is now characterized by attentiveness. Additionally, I encourage you to acknowledge the onset of this transformation in your personal life. Comment 444 below to inform the universe that you are prepared to enter this new season with divine alignment, confidence, and clarity. You will recognize that this transition has occurred when you no longer feel the necessity to interpret reactions, when peace replaces analysis, and when you cease to be concerned with others' opinions because they no longer dictate your own. Chaos is not elevated by God. He fosters stability, which necessitates time to evaluate. As clarity increases, those who were never intended to accompany you will gradually disperse. Individuals who are in agreement will naturally advance. You will not be required to recruit them. Encounters will be orchestrated by God. This is also the point at which humility must protect your heart. Do not allow pride to supplant tranquility when individuals begin to communicate differently. The objective is not to be acknowledged. Alignment is the same as recognition. It is merely the result of consistent obedience. Several of you will observe that individuals who previously disregarded your opinions are now seeking your input. Some individuals who previously spoke over you now listen quietly. Some individuals who previously avoided you are now inquiring about your perspective. The purpose of that transition is not to establish superiority. It pertains to the acquisition of credibility through consistent performance. Do not attempt to expedite the shift. Do not attempt to initiate a conversation. Refrain from disclosing your expansion. Allow it to emerge organically. God is aware of the precise moment at which visibility is secure. As the chosen one, this forthcoming season will be more relaxed. Not because life becomes simpler, but rather because your internal world becomes more stable. You will speak when it is necessary, remain silent when it is wise, and move without anxiety. The amount of staring will decrease. The confusion will settle, and the silence will transform into clarity. Moreover, the outcome will be distinct when individuals finally speak. They will alter their demeanor. Their stance will undergo a transformation. Respect will be communicated through their words. Even if they don't understand your point of view, this is when you'll have a profound realization. The silence was never meant to cause self-doubt. It was intended to prepare you for the responsibility of being heard. Be patient. Maintain your alignment. Maintain your composure. The transition is approaching, and when it does, you will recognize it by its tranquility rather than its noise. Section 8. In summary, continue to be stationary. The rest is being handled by God, one that has been selected. Allow your thoughts to pause here for a moment. Everything you are currently experiencing has a divine purpose, as well as a name. Individuals look at you silently, not because you are deficient, unique, or failing. They stare because there is something within you that is heavy, and weight always causes a room to slow down. You were never meant to pursue words from people who are attempting to understand themselves. God allowed silence to surround you so that your spirit could grow without distraction. He allowed observations without explanation. As a result, you would develop inner authority, self-control, and stability. Nothing was wasted. Please keep this information. You're not late. You're not lagging. You are not overlooked. You are being prepared. And preparation can appear quiet to the outside world. You don't have to change who you are to be accepted. You don't have to explain what God is doing in you. You don't have to respond to every stare or fill every silence. Your assignment is now simple. Maintain your alignment. Maintain your composure. Continue to be stationary. God is handling conversations that you are not supposed to have yet. God is closing mouths that would speak prematurely. God is keeping you safe from noises that would disrupt your peace. You can trust that. Before we conclude, chosen ones, if this message spoke to your spirit, I would like you to do something for me. Please like this video so that it can reach other chosen ones who need to hear it. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and turn on notifications so you never miss a message tailored to your journey. Tool. Share this with someone you know who could use some clarity today. Finally, comment 444 below serves as a declaration. A declaration that you are divinely protected, spiritually aligned, and walking calmly through your assignment. Let that number serve as a signal to both the universe and yourself that you are ready to embrace who God created you to be without apology. Stay still, chosen one. God is accomplishing more than you can see. The silence does not indicate rejection. It is a redirection. The stares are not judgmental. They represent recognition. And the shift you've been waiting for is already underway. Walk with peace. Walk with power. Walk with purpose. You are exactly where you should be together. We ascend toward the light.
Selected soul, please refrain from proceeding or scrolling. This situation is unique. It is no coincidence that you are currently hearing this. A precise event has crossed your path, requiring your full attention. Not later, not at your convenience, but right now, within the next 30 minutes. That's all. If you miss this opportunity, you will be unaware that it has passed. Everything you thought was on hold is about to be anchored by the events that are unfolding. The silent aspirations you never expressed aloud, the probabilities you expected to resurface. The sensation of having waited, albeit for an inordinate period of time. They have not disappeared. They have been moving and are closer than you may have previously thought. However, proximity is insufficient. Timing is critical, and most people fail at this stage. Not because they were unworthy, but because they failed to recognize the moment while it was still happening. This is about alignment, not motivation or encouragement. A precise adjustment that is only made when you are present to receive it. Currently, an item is being placed in the background. It is not yet visible to you. It is not intended that you do so. Subsequently, this is the only information that is required. Hesitation has consequences, and distraction incurs costs. As you walk away, the door will silently close. Continue to stay until you understand why you were drawn to this location in the first place. Things are about to accelerate faster than logic can keep up with. The pieces that you have stopped attempting to force will begin to self-lock into place. However, this is contingent on your continued presence. Only if you do not give in to the illusion of more time, doubt, or commotion. Pause for a moment before proceeding. Send a signal that you are present. Not halfway, nor multitasking, but entirely. Because those who are aware of these moments do not unintentionally come across them. They reply to them. Certain people may feel an overwhelming desire to leave. They'll convince themselves they'll return later. Typically, they don't. Others will experience more profound emotions, a subtle desire to remain, despite the lack of a clear rationale. If this is the case, it is critical that you remain alert. That level of sensitivity is unusual. The way you move forward will then be altered, not incrementally or someday. From this point forward, paths will become clear. Resistance will diminish. Clarity will be introduced into previously impenetrable regions. This period of time was requested because it was sufficient. Nothing else is necessary. Waiting 30 minutes is sufficient to transition to action. Enough to go from almost to already. Everything else should be silent. Continue to stay in this location. The information about to be disclosed is not appropriate for all individuals. However, if you are still listening, you are the intended audience. Prepare for the reception. Not in the future. Not during times of tranquility. However, at this exact moment. Currently, what is aimed at you is not distant. It is deeply personal, deliberate, and close. The constant draw of everything demanding your attention, the constant rush, and the noise have all served their purpose for a long time. This point necessitates an alternative strategy. Not just a few parts of you, but the whole of you. Your presence is unavoidable. This is no ordinary break in your day. This is the kind of moment that quietly transforms a life. Moses was transformed by a single encounter with the burning bush. Or how a soft, murmured voice woke Samuel from his slumber before he could recognize who was speaking. You are currently engaged in a significant conversation, one that does not recur in the same way. A distracted heart cannot comprehend the information that is about to be revealed. Delays incur expenses. Many turning points are overlooked, even if they appear to be insignificant. Not through rebellion, but through postponement. The voice that has captured your attention right now is insistent, resonant with love and intention. It is not in competition with the disorder of the universe. It awaits your attention. Additionally, if you choose presence, the events that follow will begin to align. Allow yourself to slow down from the inside out. Not as an idea, but as a living reality that gradually dawns on you. Sense the world around you. What appears to be a small aperture is actually quite large. Moments far more subdued than this have shaped the course of history. A shepherd lad approaches. A woman is seen reaching into a crowd. A fisherman abandons his nets without understanding why. This is a moment of that kind. Your presence here is not accidental. You are here because a part of you recognized the pull. Chosen does not imply superiority over others. It means awaken. It also means entrusted. Your life, with all of its triumphs and fissures, has been guiding you toward this convergence long before you realized it. Doors have already been unlocked, paths have been aligned, and solutions are en route to you. All that remains is your willingness to listen without armor, to recall your true self before dread forces you to withdraw. Identify instances when you received guidance without explanation, protection without evidence, or redirection without clarity. These were preparations. Your response determines the subsequent events. Continue to be attentive and receptive. An ancient and intentional entity knows your name and is attempting to contact you right now. The subtle nudges, incomprehensible interruptions, and incidents you recall were never arbitrary. They were signals, minor revelations designed to sharpen your ability to perceive the present. Preparation had already begun before you were aware of the contours of your profession. What appears to be disorder on the surface is always governed by precision underneath. This is the mechanism through which divine coordination works. It takes you from anticipation to embodiment, from belief to lived experience, and from formation to movement. This is the time for your response, not tomorrow or later, when you are more confident. Fear has had an adequate level of influence. The era of doubt has passed. You are currently confronted with a living invitation, not a distant future. You are not observing destiny from afar. You are summoned to it. It is necessary to be present, not perfect, to consent, not sure. As you stand at the Red Sea's threshold, you are on the edge of an enormous expanse similar to Israel, where forward movement appeared impossible until the first step was taken. The unveiling does not precede the decision. Then it follows. The door responds to preparedness, which is demonstrated not by feeling prepared, but by speaking in accordance with the current moment. 3 phrases are more significant than you may realize. I am prepared. Each pivotal moment in the Bible begins here. Noah didn't postpone construction until it rained. Moses did not wait for Pharaoh to become confident before approaching him. David did not wait until he was confident before confronting Goliath. Movement was consistently prioritized. Second, heaven responded. Similarly, your participation is required in the arrangements made for your life. Despite the fact that the plan has been finalized, activation does not happen automatically. Something shifts beneath the surface when you say, I am prepared, not emotionally but spiritually. You accept the reality that has long anticipated your arrival. Readiness isn't an emotion. It's a posture. It is the point at which you stop looking for signs and instead become them. This is the point at which alignment changes to acceleration. You are currently at a threshold. Delay, repetition, and hesitation are all present in the background. Before you is the existence that has been quietly evolving while you wondered if it was too late. It's not. However, timing is crucial. Delay diminishes momentum. Stagnation occurs when stillness surpasses its intended function. The flow is restored through action. As you may recall, grace did not meet the prodigal son while he was still preparing to return. It approached him as he turned and moved. Please recall Esther. Courage didn't wait until safety was guaranteed. She took the initiative, and her decision shaped history. This is a moment of that kind. The preparation season has ended. Your response is all that remains. Speak readiness into the environment in which you are currently located. Even if your hands are trembling, move forward. So, what has been approaching you is already in motion, and it can detect readiness when it hears it. Let us pause for a moment before proceeding. If you are already experiencing a disturbance within yourself, or if this message is reaching areas you rarely discuss, respond with intention. Execute a meaningful action based on the information you are currently receiving. Initially, please share this message to ensure that it reaches those seeking clarity and hope. Distribute it to someone who needs motivation today. Someone who may be ready to receive this confirmation. And, if you haven't already, please subscribe to stay up to date on not only a specific channel, but also a growing stream of messages tailored specifically to this season. Your connection ensures that this message reaches the souls it was intended for as we approach 10,000 subscribers. Please visit the remarks section and enter 999 or 777. Please also provide the city from which you are listening as well as your current location. Allow this to serve as a subtle yet powerful statement of readiness and alignment as you move forward. This isn't just content, it's confirmation and alignment. This is intended for people who have been quietly preparing for a deeper level of growth and restoration. Also, please be advised that all those who choose to support this endeavor by sharing engagement or using the Super Thanks feature will have their support acknowledged. It is significant and contributes to the spread of this message to those who need it most. Amen. I appreciate your participation in this moment. Your narrative represents the same turning point. Momentum is currently accumulating beneath your souls, waiting for your permission to pass through. Delay is not unbiased in this situation. Hesitation does not simply stop the process. It has the potential to disrupt the arrangement's completeness. Your spirit is currently being gently but firmly pressed by an urgent situation. The summons is a quiet insistence that draws you forward rather than panic or pressure. The significance of what may appear to be a minor action is frequently underestimated. Access is gained through obedience, regardless of how mundane it appears. It indicates readiness and clears space. This is the first stage of electricity transfer. In this context, love is neither symbolic nor distant. It is actively searching, reaching into places you have hidden, including those you have deemed unworthy. Instead of condemning, it locates you in order to elevate, remind, and restore you to your full potential. Instead of seeing love as an idea, imagine it as an unstoppable and steady current that sweeps through every space previously occupied by dread. Clarity begins to emerge in areas where doubt has attempted to be resolved. Peace replaces the lingering burden. When you falter, this love remains firm. It is like the sun, relentless and unavoidable. When you allow yourself to fully experience it, an ancient part of yourself emerges. Favor begins to flow where resistance once existed. As your heart opens, capacity expands, and your focus sharpens. This affection is not intended to create a state of calm. It is meant to encourage you to take action. It inspires courage. It improves visual clarity. It gives a sense of security when movement appears to be dangerous. Receiving means embodying your entire true nature. Change is no longer a distant prospect. It is close enough to touch. The shape of your existence begins to shift the moment alignment is established. The grip of old struggles has loosened. You are no longer bound by what previously defined you. This is not a product of your imagination. Activation is the interior agreement that allows for the reorganization of outer reality. History remembers moments like these. When the time came, Joseph's identity was not protected by the prison. In response to the call to purpose, Mary Magdalene refused to be snared by her grief. Transformation has always occurred when preparedness and affection collide. Currently, you are on the verge of a future that requires fortitude to enter where they once stood. The timing, conditions, and invitation have all been planned. Your response is all that remains. At this point, the process of becoming one begins, and preparation ends. You have already traveled the long path that has led you to this point. The next level is now accessible, and progressing will propel you to greater heights than you could have imagined. The final phase is now right in front of you. This is not a reflection, an idea, or something to be saved for later consideration. It represents the culmination of every unseen prayer, quiet sacrifice, and season in which you persevered without evidence. Currently, you are being asked to demonstrate fortitude in action. The future is already planned. The hesitation you feel is entirely understandable. However, it is insufficient to counteract the momentum that has built up to bring you to this point. Consider your life to be a long climb. Each action was significant. Regardless of whether some were taken with confidence and others with trembling legs, each one has brought you to this final ascent where release is required. Control must be relaxed without jeopardizing trust. You're not entering a state of emptiness. You're entering into a partnership. Faith and authority come together in this location. Furthermore, collaboration has a significant impact on the results. This is the moment when movement is essential. Allow readiness to move from contemplation to action. Declare it. Transform internal alignment into an external agreement. This action isn't symbolic. It is substantial. It causes movement. When people express their readiness, things start to reorganize themselves. Timing accelerates. Provision responds. What had been waiting for begins to move forward calmly. Words spoken in alignment do not disperse into the ether. They let go. A single declaration can set off a chain reaction. Doors are opened in ways that are beyond logical explanation. Conditions change without prior notice. Transformation happens in this way, not incrementally, but decisively. God responds to fortitude because it fosters trust, which allows access. Readiness does not imply passive faith. It involves active participation. Consider the image of Peter stepping onto the water. While he was in the canoe, the miracle did not occur. It was obvious when his foot advanced. Consider Joshua by the Jordan River. The river did not separate before. When the priest entered, it split. The signal has always been movement. Heaven responds to actions. Allow your preparedness to deeply permeate your being. Say it. I am prepared. The internal transition from resistance to fluidity is palpable. In situations like this, opportunity does not come easily. It opens abruptly. Favor moves quickly when alignment is evident. Miracles frequently occur shortly after the declaration of readiness, as willingness acts as a catalyst. You have been assigned an exclusive position. Potential power persists even in the absence of participation. Delays occur when stillness extends beyond its seasonality. Engagement transforms intention into reality. Every step that is aligned becomes catalytic. This is how supplication becomes tangible. Please recall the servant who multiplied the quantities entrusted to his care. The increase was caused by action. The person who buried his gift remained unchanged. You have the ability, wisdom, and determination to move forward, not hide. Moving forward allows the release of what has been internally stored. Do not delay until you are under duress. Decide to move with awareness. Recognize your role in the current situation and proceed with precision. This is not a frivolous invitation. This is an event that will have a long-term impact. Readiness, fortitude, and participation are the keys to unlocking what lies ahead. Not only will the current opportunity change your path, but it will also have an impact on the lives of those around you. The request you are currently receiving is more than just a pause. This is a request for your undivided attention, one that seeks your consent rather than your inquiry. The ability to remain present, listen without defenses, and engage without retreat determines the outcome. This is not a fleeting event. This exchange is significant because it establishes a clear course of action and shapes one's destiny. The significance of this dialogue is determined by your actions, much like standing before the Creator in council. Every inner agreement, every thought allowed to exist, and every hesitation entertained has significance in this context. These are not trivial matters. Room to land is required for insight that aims to elevate you. Transparency is required for guidance designed to benefit you. This is an invitation to participate in a sacred conversation that cannot coexist with distractions. Nonetheless, your surroundings reduce the amount of interior noise. Allow your consciousness to be unbroken. The following is not covert. Where frailty once existed, strength will emerge. Confusion will be replaced with direction. Capacity will go beyond your expectations. Prepare from the inside out. Incremental change is not imminent. It's a simultaneous realignment on multiple levels, the kind that astounds you with how quickly things can change. Visualize the simultaneous movement of all aspects of your life, including work, relationships, provision, and purpose. This is orchestration, not a coincidence. The same power that brought down the walls of Jericho through sustained faith, raised Lazarus from the dead, and positioned Esther to save a nation, is still active and moving with precision. You are on the verge of that same convergence. There is a reason for the increasing level of anticipation. Fantasy is not the case. It is the awakening to readiness. The timing is precise. The presence of power is clear. However, reception is crucial. Awe opens our hearts. It is supported by gratitude. It is triggered by courage. Even abundance cannot be fully realized in the absence of preparedness. The events unfolding are in accordance with your wishes. Intervention does not replace consent. Even the greatest gift remains unopened if you refuse to accept, act, or participate. The catalyst is readiness. This spark transforms intention into manifestation. You are not an observer. You're a partner. This partnership has always necessitated movement. Consider Gideon, who kept asking questions as he moved forward. Consider Hannah, who stood and spoke before the change of circumstances. Consider the blind man who, despite the crowd's orders to remain silent, burst out crying. Action was necessary before clarity could emerge. Confirmation preceded courage. Momentum builds with each action you take. Each aligned choice speeds up the outcome. Now is the time to overcome any fears. Participate in the process. Allow the offer to go through you instead of around you. This is not an ordinary moment. It's crucial. Your decision at this time will be carried forward. Pauses are not without significance. Each response influences the events that follow. The timing of this event is not intended to put you under any pressure. Rather, it is intended to establish your position. A single decisive moment has the potential to reshape an entire future. Like a river, life flows. If the current is not detected, it will pass. Enter it, and it will carry you farther than any amount of effort could. The current text isn't symbolic. It's genuine. This is when the pen is in motion. A position has been reserved for you that cannot be filled by another person. When identity is asserted, authority grows. When alignment is selected, the purpose is highlighted. It takes courage to resist this summons, but transformation has always been possible with courage. Moses advanced. David responded to the phone call. Ruth chose loyalty over fear. Furthermore, generations were transformed. Your decision to take a stand at this time is more than just personal preference. It unlocks the potential that has been waiting for you and puts you in a position to fully realize the purpose for which you were selected. Please avoid retreating at this time. This is the time to rise and accept the responsibility and honor that has been placed in your hands. Please enter the entire area designated for you. Faithful action liberates power. The upcoming events will not unfold gradually. It will come with undeniable impact, clarity, and force. Elevation is coming, and it will astound you. This isn't a gradual climb. It represents an abrupt shift to a higher level of spiritual authority, provision, and purpose. History remembers moments like these. The waters receded. The chains collapsed. Sight was restored instantly. Your transition will carry that same unmistakable signature. Anticipation or even fear does not constitute a warning. It serves as confirmation. This surge is not meant to break you. It is meant to position you. What you have been waiting for is closer than it appears. Circumstances have been aligning quietly, people shifting into place, doors loosening on their hinges. What once felt delayed is about to move all at once. Breakthrough does not always announce itself early. Sometimes it strikes like lightning, sudden and illuminating. You may feel unready. That feeling has accompanied every great turning point. Joseph felt it in the prison. Job felt it in the ashes. Yet the shift came anyway, not because they felt prepared, but because the timing was complete. Release resistance. Keep an open mind. What is arriving will change your trajectory. Nothing has been wasted. Every struggle, every unanswered prayer, every detour has been part of the construction. Favor is not arriving in fragments. It is coming whole. Things will begin to align with precision. Doors will open without force. People will notice. Opportunities will appear where none existed. What looks like coincidence is alignment. What feels sudden has been building for years. Acceleration is represented by this. The harvest moment when effort meets divine speed. Like a field ready at once, what you planted patiently is now rising together. Remain receptive. Gratitude keeps the flow open. Faith keeps you aligned. What unfolds next will stretch your understanding of what is possible. The results will not only bless you, they will speak through you. This next level is real. It has been prepared with intention. Every prayer and act of obedience has brought you here. Hesitation delays nothing forever, but courage releases everything now. Step forward. You're prepared. And what awaits you is greater than you imagined, yet perfectly matched to who you have become. What you survived was never proof of your weakness. It was evidence. Evidence that something immense was placed inside you long before the breaking began. The collapse did not disqualify you. The pain did not derail you. The trials did not delay you. They marked you. What tried to destroy you was permitted only because it could not. You were being tempered, not punished, pressed, not abandoned, watched the entire time. Blessings do not always arrive gently. They arrive with force, with disruption, with shock. They emerge from places no one would look, through paths no one would choose, manna in a desert, oil multiplying in the hands of a widow, prison doors opening when chains felt permanent. These moments were never predictable, yet they were exact. And the same pattern is moving toward you now. Your pain was not wasted. Your waiting was not empty. Every season where nothing made sense was shaping your capacity to hold what is coming next. You were not being comforted. You were being conditioned. There's a distinction. Comfort soothes. Conditioning awakens, and you are being awakened. Do not shrink your expectations now. Do not ask for what is reasonable. What is approaching will defy logic, bypass planning, and ignore the timelines you were taught to trust. These blessings are not meant to end with you. They are meant to signal, to stir, to unsettle others into remembering what is possible. Your life is becoming a signpost. Abraham waited beyond reason. Joseph endured beyond explanation. Neither saw the full picture while they were inside the process. Yet when the moment arrived, it arrived whole, complete, irreversible. That is how harvest works. It does not trickle. It breaks through. What you endured refined your sight. It taught you discernment. It stripped illusions. It prepares you to receive without being consumed. Strength was forged in you so that abundance would not distort you. Wisdom was carved into you so that favor would not mislead you. This was not an accident. This is calibration. You are being led. Not gently guided, but summoned. Marked not for survival, but for impact. Not to be spared from fire, but to walk through it carrying authority. What is unfolding now is not the end of a story. It is the moment the ground begins to shift beneath everything you thought was settled. Remember to be vigilant. Keep an open mind. Something has just moved into position, and the sound you hear is not closure. But the first hinge turning as a door you didn't know existed begins to open. Heavenly Father, I come before you in this sacred moment, not as a spectator, but as one who has been summoned. I quiet every distraction, every fear, every doubt, and I bring you my full attention. You have been guiding me long before I understood the path, shaping me through waiting, through breaking, through hidden preparation. Now I stand here not by accident, but by divine appointment. I say yes to what you are revealing. I say yes to alignment. I say yes to the calling that has been stirring in my spirit. Remove every hesitation that keeps me small. Let your truth replace my uncertainty. Let your presence become my confidence. I open my heart, my future, and my steps to you. I declare that I am ready, ready to move, ready to receive, ready to walk into what has been prepared for me. Let what has been waiting now begin to move. In your name, I step forward. Amen. If this prayer stirred something in your spirit, if today's message touched the quiet places you rarely speak of, don't hold it inside. Take a moment to go to the comments and write 999 or 777, and also share your city and where you are listening from. Let this be a quiet declaration between you and heaven, sealing this word over your life. I am seen by heaven, and I will walk on purpose. If you believe that your genuine restraint has impressed heaven enough to activate angelic protection around your identity, please include the number 777 in the comments section to increase the frequency of celestial recognition. To learn more about how your authentic essence creates miracles in higher dimensions that manifest as blessings in your earthly existence, subscribe to this channel and turn on all notifications. Share this video with someone who also demonstrates dignity and restraint, as they may be attracting angelic recognition without their knowledge. This is necessary for chosen souls to recognize and support one another. And before you leave, watch the video that appears on your screen to learn how your newly activated celestial protection attracts opportunities that appear to be tailor-made for you. We ascend together toward the light,